many well. Bodhamaha, we understand. Rakshati, he protects. Patami, I fall. Nayanti, they lead. Atthaha,
ಅತ್ತಃ ವಿಸರ್ಗ ಇಲ್ಲ. ದೆರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ವಿಸರ್ಗ. ಅತ್ತ.
Attha, you many eat. Santi, they are. Nashyasi, you perish. Nrityati, he dances. Vishamaha, we enter. Prichathaha, you to ask. Muhyati, he faints. Ichhami, I wish.
ಓಕೆ.
Munjatha, you many release. Sprishati, he touches. Smaratha, you many remember. Vahataha, they too bear. Sinchayati, sinchati.
ಸಿಂಚಯತಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ? ಸಿಂಚ ಇಸ್ ದ ಸಿಕ್ಸ್ತ್ ಕಾಂಜುಗೇಷನ್. ಆರನೆಯ ಗಣ ಯಾ ಬರಲ್ಲ.
Sinchati, he sprinkles. Lutyanti, they many wallow. Tushyami, I am satisfied.
ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್.
Asyathaha, you to throw. Kathayami, I tell. Shamsatha, you many praise.
ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್.
Tadayasi, you beat.
ಓಕೆ.
Rohanti, they grow. Pujayati, he adores. Tishtami, I stand.
ತಿಷ್ಠಾಮಿ.
Tishtami, I stand. Sprihayatha, you many desire. Kshalayati, he washes. Kshayataha, they to diminish or decrease. Kshaya,
ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್. ಬೋತ್ ಆರ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್. ಡಿಮಿನಿಷ್, ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್, ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್.
Admi, I.
ಕ್ಷಯ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಔಟ್ ನೋ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ರೈಟ್ ವರ್ಡ್. ಕ್ಷಯ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಷೀಯತೆ. ಕ್ಷೀಯತೆ ಇಸ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸಿಂಗ್, ಡಿಮಿನಿಷಿಂಗ್, ಸೇಮ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. ಅದ್ಮಿ.
Here they have given
ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಅವೇ.
waste.
ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಅವೇ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್. ಇಟ್ ಗಿವ್ಸ್ ಎ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೆಷನ್.
Admi, I eat. Jivamaha, we live.
ಲಿವ್.
We live.
ಲೀವ್ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಲೀವ್ಗೆ ಲಿವ್ಗೆ ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ.
Okay, okay.
ಹೌ ಡಿಡ್ ಯು ಗೆಟ್ ಇಟ್? ದಿಸ್ ಲಿವ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಯು ಪ್ರೊನೌನ್ಸ್ ಆಸ್ ಲೀವ್. LIV ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಲೀವ್, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಲಿವ್.
Okay. We live. Tyajatha, you many abandon. Pachanti, they cook. Pushyami, I nourish. Arataha, they too removes.
ದೇ ಟು
Removes.
ರಿಮೂವ್ಸ್. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ರಿಮೂವ್ಸ್? ರಿಮೂವ್ಸ್.
Arati, oh, take away.
ಬಟ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಅವೇ. ರಿಮೂವ್ಸ್, ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಟ್? ರಿಮೂವ್ಸ್. ರಿಮೂವ್ಸ್ ವರ್ಡ್ ನೆವರ್ ಇದೆ.
Take away.
ರಿಮೂವ್ಸ್ ವರ್ಡ್ ಇಸ್ ನೆವರ್ ದೇರ್ ಇನ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್. ರಿಮೂವ್ಸ್ ಏನು?
He removes.
ಬಟ್ ದೇ ಟು.
Take away.
ಈಸ್ ಇಟ್ ದ್ವಿವಚನ, ಏಕವಚನ?
Ekavachana.
ಹರತಿ.
Harataha.
ಹರತಃ ಏಕವಚನ ಹೇಗಾಗ್ತದೆ?
Harataha dvivachana.
ಬಟ್ ದ ರಿಮೂವ್ಸ್ ಹೇಗಾಗ್ತದೆ?
Oh, they too remove.
ಹಾಂ,
Okay.
ದ್ವಿವಚನ. ದೇ ಟು ರಿಮೂವ್.
They too remove. So remove proper.
ದೇ ಟು ರಿಮೂವ್ ಅಥವಾ ಮೂವ್ ಇದೆ, ರಿಮೂವ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಮೂವ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರಿಮೂವ್. ಹಾಂ
Take away no or remove.
ಹಾಂ, ದೇ ಟೇಕ್ ಅವೇ. ದೇ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ ಅವೇ ಆರ್ ದೇ ಟು ರಿಮೂವ್. ಹಾಂ, ರಿಮೂವ್.
Jayasi, you win. Pibanti, they drink. Pashyavaha, we too see. Vayati, he calls. Pidayanti, they cause pain. Yajamaha, we worship. Kshamyami, to be tired.
ಟು ಬಿ ಟೈರ್ಡ್ ಏನದು ವರ್ಬ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ?
Shramyami,
ಟು ಬಿ ಟೈರ್ಡ್.
become tired.
To become tired, to be tired, there is no verb, there is no person at all. It's not a verb. You are only giving the meaning of the dhatu.
Okay.
You are not using it. ಸಿ ಡೂ ಯು ಸೇ ಹಿ ಈಸ್ ಈಟಿಂಗ್ ಫುಡ್ ಆರ್ ಟು ಈಟ್ ಫುಡ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರ? ಹಿ ಈಸ್ ಟು ಈಟ್ ಫುಡ್, ದೆನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಸೇ? ಶ್ರಾಮ್ಯಾಮಿ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ he is very.
Ghoshayatha, you many proclaim.
Is, was, been. Is present tense, was is past tense, been is past participle. So to be is the verb, but when you use it, it becomes is. To be means he is. ಟು ಗೋ ಅಂದರೆ ಹಿ ಗೋಸ್ ಎಂದು ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ, ಟು ಗೋ ಎಂದು ಹೇಳಿಬಿಡ್ತೀರಾ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ? ಟು ಗೋ ಅಲೋನ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಯು ಯೂಸ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ವರ್ಬ್, ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಟೆನ್ಸ್. ದೆನ್ ಟು ಗೋ ವರ್ಬ್ ಯು ಯೂಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್, ವೆನ್ ಯು ಯೂಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಇನ್ ಎ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಎ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಯು ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಹಿ ಗೋಸ್. Similarly, to be, when you say to be is the verb, is the basic verb, and when you use it in a present tense, he is. To be is called he is. Okay.
Ghoshayatha.
So he is very. I used another one. He toils, he strains. I used other words. Okay. He is tired. Tired is not a verb. Tired is a past participle. He is tired. Shramyami. I am tired. I am tired. I am very. Very means tired only. I am very. I am tired.
Ghoshayatha, you many proclaim. Ganayati, he counts. Krishamaha, we plow. Dravanti, they are wet.
They water or they are wet? Okay. They wet, they both are. Okay.
Chintayati, he contemplates.
Correct.
English to sample.
Okay.
He nourishes. Pushyati.
Correct.
I dance. Nrityami.
Correct.
You covet. Lubhyatha. He enters. Vishati. Thou wishest.
Wishest, ಅದು old English. That means you wish.
You wish. Ichhasi. I adore. Pujayami.
Correct.
You give pain.
Correct. Thou givest pain means you give pain. Ekavachana.
To the sea.
Correct.
It grows. Rohati.
Correct.
We call. Hwayami.
We, Bahuvachana.
Hwayamaha.
Correct. Bahuvachana it is. Hwayamaha. Hwayami means I call. It is we call. Hwayamaha. Okay.
He is silly. Muhyati.
Correct.
They are satisfied. Tushyanti. I conquer. Jayami. You go. Gachhasi. Bahuvachana.
He uses, for singular he uses thou. You is gachata. Gachatha. Gachatha.
Thou art weary. Shramyasi.
Correct.
I wish. Ichhami. We too drink. Pibavaha.
Correct.
You burn. Dahatha. They wash off.
What did you write?
Shalayanti.
What you wrote, you must read. No, what you wrote, you have to read. Even that is difficult.
No, I wrote it. I'm confused what I wrote only.
Oh, okay. Okay. ಇಂಥದ್ದು ಇರುತ್ತದೆ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ ಆಶ್ಚರ್ಯ ಫಾರ್ ಮಿ. ಓಕೆ.
ಶಾಲಯಂತಿ. It wastes away. Shayati.
Wastes away means it gets exhausted. It gets decreases, gets exhausted. See, some food or something is there, sugar gets exhausted. Kshayati. Kshayavaguttade. Or it will run out. What you say? It will run out. That is called. I think that's a modern English. Probably it's simple. Wastes away means it will run out. Whatever sugar or food or water, whatever you have got, as you use it, it will run out. It runs out. Runs out means it will. Okay.
You tell. Kathayasi. He weighs. Tolayati. They steal. Chorayanti. You arrange. Rachayatha. He proclaims. Ghoshayami. Ghoshayati. I remember. Smarami.
Correct.
They too dwell. Vasataha. We take. Harama.
Correct.
You tell.
No, haramaha, you can take nayamaha also. Haramaha, nayamaha. Okay.
You touch.
You tell.
You tell. Kathayatha. You touch.
Singularities.
You touch. Sprihasi. Sprishasi. Touch. They desire. Sprihayanti.
Correct.
You too go. Gachathaha.
You too gachathaha. Correct.
Gachathaha. He steals. Chorayati. We too are swaha.
Correct.
Thou pleasest. You please. Prenayasi. I enter. Vishami.
Same, Vishami. What did you write there?
Vishami.
Sha should be dirgha. Sha should be dirgha. Vishami.
Vishami. They beat. Tadayanti. We too cook. Pachava. You adore. Pujayatha.
Correct. So next he is, whatever rules we have learnt in the 4 chapters, just something reminding or revising it, he gives the rule. Earlier we have studied only singulars in the first chapter, plurals in the second chapter, duals. We studied separately to study them in a systematic way. Because hereafter we follow this system. Now he has given a table, you can see. Buddha Bodha Dhatu. Bodhami, Bodhavaha, Bodhamaha. In fact, he is using, but our traditional Panini structure starts with the third person. Bodhati, Bodhataha, Bodhanti, Bodhasi. He is starting with Bodhami because that's in English is first person. First English model he is going. But I think we should have changed it into Indian model. Indian model is first person is third person. Third person in English. Panini follows that alone. Panini grammar. So bodhati, bodhataha, bodhanti, bodhasi, bodhathaha, bodhatha, bodhami, bodhaha. Like this is the first gana dhatu. Example for pushyami. Pushyati is a fourth gana dhatu. Vishati is a sixth gana dhatu. Chorayami iti, chorayati iti, 10th gana dhatu. Since we have already studied in the table form, so and you also know, so I think we need not read it, we can skip it. Now he is talking, shall we say this? Gutturals, palatals, do you know this or should I say that? Do you need that?
No, not necessary.
Then we can skip it. Or if you want, we can do that.
No, not necessary.
Okay. Then guna. For guna, what are gunas? We have told. The list we made it. For A is the guna, the table I have given. A is the guna, A is vriddhi. For E, A is the guna, I is vriddhi. For O is guna and Av is vriddhi. For Ru, Ar is guna, R is vriddhi. For Lu, Al is guna, All is vriddhi. This we have given. Then the first conjugation, Vikarana Pratyaya is A. And the rule is final vowel.
Final vowel or penultimate short vowel takes guna.
Guna substitute, gunadesha, correct. So fourth, there is no rule for it. Only ya is to be added. Then the sixth,
aya.
A is added. Aya 10th. Sixth ki A is added to the sixth gana. For 10th gana, aya is added. Aya is the gana pratyaya. But in the dhatu undergoes some changes, both vriddhi and guna. Final vowel takes vriddhi. Penultimate, two steps are there. If penultimate is short akara, it takes vriddhi. If the penultimate is other vowel other than a, that is e, u, ru, that again takes gunadesha. So these two rules for the 10th conjugation. I think for second conjugation, neither there is a Gana pratyaya. There is no Gana pratyaya, no gunadesha and all. Only one thing is, only two things are there. For as dhatu, two rules. One is in the singulars, in the second person. As plus the sa is dropped. Asi. In dvivachana and bahuvachana, from the as dhatu, a gets dropped. A gets dropped, only sa remains. To the sa, Purusha pratyayas are added. Therefore, sta santi, stha sthaha, Staha stha, swaha smaha. So a will not be there. These two are the rules. Two means in singulars the sa is dropped. In plurals and duals akara is dropped. No gana pratyaya, no other gunadesha. So this is about as dhatu. Regarding at dhatu, ad dhatu, when ad is followed by the soft consonant, it remains the same. But when it followed by hard consonant, da changes to ta. Corresponding hard consonant. Da changes to ta. At, ad plus ti, atti, like that. Atti, attaha, adanti. In adanti, anti is there. A is not dropped, it is a vowel. Therefore, adanti remains like that. Atsi, attaha, atta, admi, advaha. Admi, advaha, advaha, maha. Mi, vaha, maha are soft consonant. Therefore, da alone remains. Da remains. So, only in the first two, in the third person, ekavachana and dvivachana, and in the madhyama purusha, all the three, ekavachana, dvivachana, bahuvachana, they change, the da changes to ta. This much you remember. I think another thing is that echoyavayavaha, for the a followed by any consonant, a, o, I, au, a, o, I, au. These four letters, when followed by any vowel, they change in the respectively to aya, av, aya, ava. It is called ayadi sandhi. It is just reminding all these rules. Ayadi sandhi has explained. That is a fifth one. Sixth one is a sixth alone. Ato dirgho yayi. What changes does preceding undergo before ho? Here that gachami, gachavaha, gachamaha. Here the before va maha, vaha maha, mi vaha maha, the dhatu undergoes one more dirgha. Gachami. In all other places, gacha alone remains. Here in third person, in first person alone, that is uttama purusha, gachami, gachavaha, gachama. That changes. The sixth rule is that. No, fifth rule. Sixth is that ayadi sandhi. Seventh is explain the change a consonant undergoes followed by a hard consonant. That ad plus ti, atti. That is seventh rule. Eighth is sa ra change to. Sa and ra change to visarga. Sa and ra, when do they change? What are final sa and ra change to? Under circumstances does latter undergo the change? I think this rule is a little complicated. We can tell later. Like at the end of the word, sa changes to visarga. At the end of the word. That is, we have not taught, we taught directly only. See, gacha plus taha. In fact, tas is a pratyaya. Gacha plus tas. Gachata, the sa we have changed into visarga. Gachataha. See, where does the visarga come? Gachati, no visarga. Gachataha, there is a visarga. Gachanti, no visarga. Gachati, gachataha again. Thus. Thus. Gachami, no visarga. You can see gacha, vaha. Vas is there. And mas. See, tas, vas, mas. In fact, the purusha pratyayas are this. This becomes more complicated grammar, therefore I told just directly visarga. Because one more step of grammar you have to learn. He is teaching. That's why Bhandarkar is not so much about Panini, but a little bit he gives, because his intention is foreigners found very difficult to learn grammar. In North India, whoever wants to learn Sanskrit, they would start with Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi. Directly Laghu Siddhanta. A person who doesn't know single word of Sanskrit, he would be taught Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi. To a foreigner who has never heard a single Sanskrit word, at least for Indians, Nagari Lipi is familiar, Sanskrit words are familiar, they just don't know Rama, Krishna, Shiva, no word at all. For such people, if they want to learn Sanskrit, they would start Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi. They would feel, my God, what a torture it is. What a torture. Then they found Sanskrit is difficult. This name, Sanskrit is difficult. This name, came only because of the North Indian method of, for anybody, you start Lagu Siddhanta Kaumudi. Lagu Siddhanta Kaumudi is in a grammar, that too Paninian grammar, mathematical. A person who doesn't know single word of Sanskrit, do you teach him basic words and sentences, or directly start first day alone grammar? Then people will be frightened. What is all this? Even now in Rishikesh, when sadhus, brahmacharis come to learn, first day they start Halantyam, they start the sutra. Sutras, Panini sutras. And they don't know how to pronounce, they split them and tell them, just they can't make out anything. And first few days they listen, 10 days they'll go mad and run away, will leave the ashram and run away, unable to stand that. And people tell them, you see, it happened for us, don't worry, you will understand it, come on. And people will encourage them. For 1 or 2 months, you will go Tirtha Yatra somewhere, he will not come at all. For people tell them, what is happening? Say, I have started Lagu and I could not come. Hey, don't do that. It is a very difficult, I am unable to understand. Guruji is abusing me, Guruji is scolding me, I am unable to understand. See, everybody felt the same thing, come on. Again and again, they encourage senior people. Then with a great difficulty starts. Again for another 1 month, he will again run away. Minimum twice they run away. Third time you will continue. Because the Lagu, they call in North India, particularly Rishikesh, Lohe ka chana. Chana, you know, kadle.
Kadle.
Lohe ka chana.
Kabbinada kadle.
Kabbina kadle for eating. Can you eat it?
No.
That's what it is. So Lagu Siddhanta Kaumudi is a Lohe ka chana. Because to learn Sanskrit that, then Bhandarkar found for foreigners as well as for Indians who do not know any word, directly you start with such a high grammar and mathematical grammar first day to learn Sanskrit. Before you learn the alphabet, before you learn a single word, you start describing the grammatical principles. You have not even learnt one word. Therefore, he told, we need a preparatory step, a little familiarity with a language, so that after studying this, you will be prepared for. So he is starting this Bhandarkar wrote these 2 books for familiarizing with Sanskrit, so that he can study. He is preparing you for studying the advanced grammar. So therefore, he is covering few rules which can be easily explained. The changes, how they undergo. So in these 4 places. Other thing is ti. In fact, we told ti taha anti. No. Bhandarkar uses ti tas anti. Si thas tha. Mi vas mas. First step he told these suffixes, these pratyayas. Then this sa changes to visarga. Ta, sa at the end of the word changes to visarga. Any sa, anywhere in Sanskrit language, when there is a sa, just a consonant sa at the end of the word, this changes to visarga. This sa changes to visarga. Then it becomes a taha, thaha, vaha, maha. So instead of taking this step, why complicating it? I use it directly, taha, taha, vaha, maha. So that's what he is covering in this 8th point. Sa changes to. And some place, Ra also changes to Visarga. Where did he cover? Ra changes to Visarga. Where did he cover? Whether followed by any letter or not. And Ra followed by a hard consonant or nothing is changed to Visarga. Where is this rule? I am looking for it. Dahamaha. Oh, Dahamaha. I think Ra is simply telling, but is not. Oh, Vadamaha, Dahamaha. I think Sa is enough. For Ra, he has not given any example. For Ra, he hasn't given example. Sa changing to Visarga, we have come across the examples. Here only. In all the words, these 4 letters, Sa, actually they end in Sa. These 4. The Sa changes to Visarga. So, Ra also changes to Visarga. This is general rule. Anywhere at the end of the word, Sa changes to Visarga. But Ra changes under certain conditions. Though he mentioned in certain conditions, he has not given examples. Examples we have not yet come across. Therefore, let us not bother. When the example comes, I'll remind you. This rule I shall remind you, because this rule applies here. Because without application, a bare principle is boring and nobody can understand. So one should never do that. So we'll leave it. So this point we leave it. And then the present tense roots we have learnt. Present tense of many roots as are necessary. Therefore he says, you give certain verbs and ask him to make certain present tense forms as a practice. Since we have already done translations from English to Sanskrit, Sanskrit to English, so we are fairly familiar with the roots. So I think I need not give that. We can go to the next now. Next line, 13th page, you see the prepositions is calling. The prepositions is an English expression, but in Sanskrit we don't call prepositions. We call prefixes. Prefix is better. Is calling preposition. Instead of preposition, to call prefix is better, isn't it? Prefixes. Prefixes is called in Sanskrit upasarga. Upasarga is a grammatical. In grammar it means one, but in Sahitya it means something else. Upasarga means an obstacle. In Sahitya, in literature, in Kavyas and other places. Even in Ramayana, Bhagavad Gita, all the places, upasarga is an obstacle. In grammatical context, in grammar shastra, Vyakarana shastra, upasarga is a prefix.
Okay.
So it has got a peculiarity. So the same word has a different meaning according to the shastra. So upasargaha means a lot of obstacles are there. Upasargas something. Here upasarga is a prefix. Okay. So for the, if you, there is a verbal root. Gam gacha. For gacha you add the ti. So ti is called pratyaya. That is suffix. And if you write agachati, he comes. A is prefix, ti is suffix. In Sanskrit, a is called upasarga, ti is called pratyaya. If you add to verb something before, it is called upasarga. See, the upasargas are added to the verbs alone, not to the nouns.
Okay.
Upasarga. So let us say there are certain upasargas. There are certain upasargas. I think there are 22 upasargas in Sanskrit language. Note down, you can. 22 upasargas. Shall I give you a list of them completely? Here, he is giving just as an example. Just an example, a few of them he covered. He did not cover all upasargas. See here you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Only 14 upasargas he has covered here. Okay. Only 14 here. But totally they are 22. I think why go to the 22 we'll see later. First we study this existing upasargas. First, no, already there. In the book let us study. Remaining missing upasargas I'll tell you later after completing this thing. So this first let us say upasargas. There are certain small word forms like this a. Either one letter or two letters or maximum 2 or 3 letters alone. 1 letter, 2 letters, 3 letters. These letters have some meaning and they are prefixed to the verb alone. When they are prefixed to the verb, they are called upasargas. Okay, upasarga kriya yoge Panini Sutra. Upasargas, when they are added, they are called upasarga when they are added to the verbs alone. To the verbs alone, upasargas are added, not to the other. Okay, so upasargas have some meaning also. So these upasargas, when added to the verbal root, the meaning of the root slightly 3 ways are there. Adenu upasarga gatistridha tameva vishinashtanyah upasarga gatistridha. I forgot the shloka. I'll tell you. He should have given the shloka. I don't know why didn't he give. Upasargas. Upasarga gatistridha. Where is the upasarga? Praharahara samhara usara pariharavat upasarga 224 page. Here I tell you. Dhatvartam, you can note down the shloka. Dhatvartam badhate kaschit. धात्वर्थं बाधते कश्चित् कामा कश्चित् तमनुवर्तते कश्चित् तमनुवर्तते फुल स्टॉप नेक्स्ट लाइन तमेव विशिनष्ट्यन्यः तमेव विशिनष्ट्यन्यः तमेव विशिनष्ट्यन्यः कामा उपसर्ग गतिस्त्रिधा उपसर्ग गतिस्त्रिधा so these upasargas when added to the root this upasarga sometime dhatvartam badhate kaschit sometimes some upasargas totally make the dhatus meaning ulta jayati vijayate jayati ki totally opposite makes it v is added v upasarga is added to the jayati jayati is winning no alla parajayate jayati ki parajaya jayati is winning para if you added it becomes totally ulta meaning so sometimes this dhatu totally defeats the meaning of the verb meaning of the root makes it opposite upasarga see dhatvartam badate kaschit taschit tamanuvartate some follows the same meaning means with upasarga without upasarga it means the same thing we give in Telugu example shubram parishubram do you have in Kannada
same
shubram parishubram mean the same thing you add pari it means the same sometimes gacchati no what you call praptaha sampraptaha it means the same so some upasargas don't make any changes to the root it just follows the meaning of the root means with upasarga without upasarga it means the same some upasargas totally make the meaning of the root opposite some it slightly modifies vishinashti andre say modifies badate means makes it opposite anuvartate it follows the same so first meaning is धात्वर्थम बाधते कश्चित् कश्चित् उपसर्ग धात्वर्थम बाधते means it cancels it makes it opposite some upasargas make the meaning of the verbal root opposite some follow the same meaning some slightly modify so like this upasarga gatisthridha therefore all the upasargas fall within these three these are the only three gati means these are the three only meanings these are the three ways an upasarga gets related to dhatu these are the three ways in these three ways alone an upasarga is added one more thing is when you add an upasarga dhatu's meaning changes so much that you add the upasargas many words are new words are derived there is one good shloka upasargena dhatvartaha balat anyatra niyate by adding an upasarga to the dhatu its meaning of the dhatu is forcibly taken into something else for example hru harati we know it pra you add prahara beating prahara means hodiyuvodu pettu prahara ahara eating samhara killing prahara ahara samhara vihara going round parihara removing elimination so he says praharahara samhara vihara pariharavat one hru dhatu hru harati dhatu as we keep on adding the upasarga how many words are derived prahara ahara samhara vihara parihara all are hara hru harati so upasargat dhatvartaha balad anyatra niyate praharahara samhara vihara pariharavat these two shlokas generally are taught so dhatvartam badate kaschit tamanuvartate tameva vishinashtanyah upasarga gatistrudha okay now let us take the ati is the first upasarga which Bhandarkar himself covers see ati is the first upasarga ati means in Kannada we say atikramisuvadu atishaya ಮಾಡುವುದು ಅತಿಶಯ ಅತಿಕ್ರಮ ಇನ್ನೇನು ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಅತಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ. ಅತಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗಿ, ಓವರ್ ಆಗಿ,
ಅತಿ ಆಸೆ,
ಅತ್ಯಾಸೆ, ಅತಿಯಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗಿ. ಅತಿ ಅರ್ಥವೇ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತದಲ್ಲಿಯೂ ಅದೇ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಟೆಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್. ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ, ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜಸ್ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತ ಈಸಿ. ಫಾರಿನರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಎವ್ರಿ ವರ್ಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಮೆಮೊರೈಸ್. ಎವ್ರಿ ವರ್ಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಟೋಟಲಿ ನ್ಯೂ. ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ವಿ ಲರ್ನ್ಟ್, just as we learnt English, every word is totally new. Every word is totally new. Alphabet is new, word is new, spelling new, every word is new. Every you have to memorize. No connection with Indian languages at all. See, for a Telugu man, Kannada learning is easy because many words are similar. At least book is common. Pustaka, when you say Pustaka, is there all over India, all over the world. There is one person, old man. Here he used to come to ashram. I told him, these people don't know, they are unable to teach me Kannada because they speak only Kannada, they don't know any other language. So will you teach me? I have got some doubts. I'll ask some present tense, past tense, future nouns and certain adjectives and certain vibhaktis. Just maybe 2-3 classes may be enough, or maximum 4 or 5 classes. Thereafter I can work on my own. If I have the basic things, I can read and I can listen and work on my own. Okay, he told he will help me. So I think 4 classes or maximum 5 classes, 4 or 5 classes, 1 hour each. I asked some questions, he started answering. And he says, Swamiji, I taught foreigners within few months, I made them to speak Kannada well. I told it's very good. Now he says, Pustaka. Swamiji, Pustaka means book. I told, are you talking to foreigners? What is this? Pustaka is there in all Indian languages. You should know basic that Pustaka is a word in all Indian languages. Now you can't explain that Pustaka means book. So this is what is ridiculous. That means when Indian talks to another Indian, he talks as if he is a foreigner. This is the most ridiculous because of our English medium schools. When you talk to another Indian, you behave as if he is a foreigner. So ati means over. So therefore he gives beyond. Now he gives one example. Atikramyati. Kramyati, a verb we have not yet learnt, but just for sake of example how that works he is giving. Atikramisu. Atikramyati. Krama dhatu ide. Kramu pada vikshepe it dhatu. For that is a 4th conjugation. Kramyati it becomes. Atikramyati, atikramisutane, he goes beyond, goes over or beyond, transgresses. You see the meaning. Goes beyond andre arthamenu, whatever rule is laid down, he goes beyond the limit. That means he transgresses the rule. Atikramisutane, atishete, atishayavaguttade. Allave? Atishaya, hage. Like that, ati we have understood. Ati upasarga is one upasarga. Second upasarga, adhi. Adhi andre enu? Adhikara, we call it. Adhikaroti. For adi means over, about, upon. He is giving meanings. You see them, it is there. Adhi, about, upon. 3 meanings. So over, about, upon. Adhigachati, goes over. Goes over enuvudu literal meaning, but goes over means he learns, he knows it, he gets it endartha. Adhigachati andre getting or knowing. Both meanings are there. Getting and knowing. Adhigachati. Adhigachati is not familiar in Indian languages. Adhigamaha. Adhigama andre prapti. Adhigama in Sanskrit prapti. But adhikara is better. Adhikaroti. Adhikara. Then innondu adhikara, I think familiar is, I am not recalling at the moment. When it comes, I'll tell you. Next is anu. Anu is well known to us. Anugamanam, anusaranam. ಅಲ್ಲವೇ ಅನುಸರಿಸುತ್ತಾನೆ, ಅನುಗಮನಂ, ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಅವ್ರ ಹಿಂದುಗಡೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ, ಅವ್ರ ಹಿಂದೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಅದೇ ಅನು ಅಂದರೆ ಆಫ್ಟರ್, ಅನುಸರಿಸು. ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡು, ಅನು ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಆರ್ ಲೈಕ್. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ, ಬುಕ್ನಲ್ಲೇ ಇದೆ. ಅನು ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಅಥವಾ ಲೈಕ್ ಹಿಮ್. ಅವರು ಅನುಸರಿಸುತ್ತಾನೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಹಿ ಫಾಲೋಸ್ ಹಿಮ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಹಿ ಈಸ್ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ ಟು ಹಿಮ್. ಲೈಕ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್. ಹಿ ಫಾಲೋಸ್ ಹಿಮ್ ಆರ್ ಈಸ್ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ ಟು ಹಿಮ್. ದಟ್ಸ್ ಐಡಿಯಾ. So anusarati, Sru Sarati we have studied already. Sru Sarati we have studied. Anu serisu. Sarati means moves. Anusarati, he moves with him means he follows him, he is similar to him. He follows him. Anugachati, gachati, anugachati. Anugamanam, avarannu anugamisuvudu. Andre avaru madidde ivaru ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. Just repeats it or he follows it. Anugamisu. Anu is upasarga well known. So anu ಅಂದರೆ ಹೇಳುವುದು ಎಂದಿದೆಯಾ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ? ಅನು. ಓ ಅನುವುದು ಅನ್ನುವುದು ಅಂದರೆ
ಅನ್ನುವುದು
ಅನ್ನುವುದು ಮರೆ ಅನ್ನುವುದೇ ಅನು. ಓಕೆ ಅನು, ಬಟ್ ಅದು ಬೇರೆ, ಅದು ಇದು ಒಂದೇ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಬಾರ್ದು. ಹಾಂ, ಅನುನಾಸಿಕ ಅಂದರೆ ಅನುನಾಸಿಕ ಅಕ್ಷರ, ಎ ನೇಸಲ್ ಲೆಟರ್. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಯು ಪ್ರೊನೌನ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದ ನೋಸ್, ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದ ಅಂಡ್ ವಿತ್ ನೋಸ್ ಯು ಸ್ಪೀಕ್ ಇಟ್. ದೇರ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅನುನಾಸಿಕ. ನಾಸಿಕ ಇಸ್ ನೋನ್, ಅನುನಾಸಿಕ ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್. ಹಾಂ. ಅನುವಾದ.
ಅನುವಾದ.
ವಾದ ಈಸ್ ವದತಿ. ವದತಿ ಕಲಿತಿದ್ದೀವಲ್ಲ, ವಿ ಲರ್ನ್ ಟು ವದತಿ. ವದತಿ ಅನುವದತಿ. ವದತಿ ಹಿ ಸ್ಪೀಕ್ಸ್, ಅನುವದತಿ ಹಿ ಸ್ಪೀಕ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಹಿಮ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಅವರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದನ್ನೇ ಇವರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಅನುವದತಿ ಅನುವಾದ, ಅನುವಾದ ಮಾಡುತ್ತಾನೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಅವರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದನ್ನೇ ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಮಾಡುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಅನುವಾದ ಇನ್ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ರಿಪಿಟೇಷನ್. ವದತಿ ಅನುವದತಿ. ಹಿ ಸೇಸ್, ಐ ಸೇ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಹಿಮ್. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಐ ಸೇ ಎ ಶ್ಲೋಕ ಏನು, ಧರ್ಮಕ್ಷೇತ್ರೇ ಕುರುಕ್ಷೇತ್ರೇ, ಅದರ್ ಫೆಲ್ಲೋ ಸೇಸ್ ಧರ್ಮಕ್ಷೇತ್ರೇ ಈಸ್ ರಿಪೀಟಿಂಗ್. ಅನುವದತಿ. ವದಂತಂ ಮಾಂ ಅನುವದತಿ. ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಐ ಸೇ, ಹಿ ಸೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಮೀ, ಹಿ ಟೆಲ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಮೀ, ಹಿ ರಿಪೀಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಮೀ. ಅನುವದತಿ, ವದತಿ ಅನುವದತಿ. ಬಟ್ ಅದನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮ ಈ ಭಾಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಲೇಷನ್, ಅನುವದತಿ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಭಾಷಾಂತರೀಕರಣ, అంటే ಪುಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ ಇನ್ ಅದರ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್. In that sense we are using Anuvada.
Okay.
We are using Anuvada in that sense. But Anuvada is simply repeating it. But translation is anyway repetition alone. What he says, the same thing, you say it in a different language. Thing is same, but you say it in different language. So the meaning is slightly closer to it. Anuvadati. Similarly, Anuvadati, Anusarati, Anugachati, Anumana, Anu ತುಂಬ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ಲವೇ. Anujanati, Anugnya, Anujanati, adella we have not learnt, but it will come later. Okay, now Abhi. Abhi means to, unto, near to. Abhi andre towards him. To. Abhigacchati, goes towards him, goes near to him. Abhigamanam. Abhigamanam. Abhi. Abhi velde. Guru Abhigamanam. It is in Sanskrit, it is familiar. I think in Kannada it's not there. Abhi. Maybe there we have to search the common uses in Indian languages. Okay, next is Abhi nantar Ava. Ava is down. Down, away or from. Avatarana, coming down. Down it is. Avarohana. Avagam, that is it. Then, therefore you see Avatarati. Avatarati, we have told one thing. Avarohati ಹೇಳಬಹುದಿತ್ತು. Avarohati he should have told. Avarohati, we'll note down what is that. Because Rohati we have studied. Avarohati, ಅವರೋಹಣ, ಅವತರತಿ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದೇನು, ಅವಗಣಯತಿ. ಗಣಯತಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಗಣಯತಿ ಕೌಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ಸ್. ಗಣನ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಸ್ ವೆಲ್ ಆಸ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರಿಂಗ್. ಅವಗಣನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ಸ್ ಆಸ್ ಲೋ. ಅವಗಣಯತಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಈ ಡಿಗ್ರೇಡ್ಸ್ ಮೀ ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ಸ್ ಮೀ ಆಸ್ ಲೋ, ಈ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ಸ್ ಮೀ ಆಸ್ ಲೆಸ್. ಅವಗಣಯತಿ, ಅವಜಾನಾತಿ, ಅವಜ್ಞಾ ಕರೋತಿ, avagnyam karoti, adella granthika kannada. If you know, you can understand it. Avaganayati. Therefore ava is down or less, low level. That's the thing. Okay, next a. A means bounding or limiting or reversing. As far as 2 or 3 meanings are there. So a gacchati, a rohati. A gacchati comes, gacchati goes, agacchati comes back, like that. Then ud means up. Ut andre urdhvam. Ut means above, superior. Utpatati, udgacchati. Utpatati you remember because it comes in the next chapter alone. Patati, falls. Utpatati goes up and falls. Like utpatati, falls up. Falls up means that means jumping and falls. Jump and like a horse jumps and falls down, like this. Utpatati, like a frog jumps. Frog jumping, horse jumping is called utpatati. So utpatati, falling up. Falling up means rise and fall down, like that. So udgacchati, udgamaha. Gama andre going. Udgamati, goes up. Udbhavati. Udbhava means rising up. So ut is up. Udbhavati, rising up. Udgacchati, going up. And then utpatati, falling down. And it goes up and falls down, like that. Ut means always up. Udgama, udbhava, udbhavati, udgamati, udgacchati, utpatati. Next upa means near. Upagacchati andre goes near, samipam. Upanishad, like that. Upa means samipam. Upahara. Innondu upasara no, upahara, upadesha,
Upadesha.
upahara. There are many things. In future you will see them plenty of words. Near, less or next to. Ni andre nishidati. Ni sada sidati means sitting. Nishidati sitting down. Sidati sitting. Ni means down. Nishidati. Ni. But ni is used in another place also. Ni, nir is different. Ni, nigamanam, nigach, ad bere. Okay, it comes later. Para. Para is opposite. Jayati, parajayate. And so, Jayati wins. Parajayate gets won by others. Parajayate, para is opposite. Then prati. Prati is opposite. Bhashate, pratibhashate. ಪ್ರತಿಧ್ವನಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರತಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಉಲ್ಟಾ ಧ್ವನಿ ಪ್ರತಿಧ್ವನಿ ಭಾಷತೆ ಪ್ರತಿಭಾಷತೆ ಹಾಗೆ ಪ್ರ ಇಸ್ ಪ್ರಯಾತಿ ಪ್ರ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಟುವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಅವೇ ಪ್ರೈವೇಶನ್ ಅಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಅವೇ ವಿಶ್ಲೇಷಣ ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್ ಓಕೆ ಸಮ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಜಾಯ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಟುಗೆದರ್ ಗಚ್ಚತಿ ಸಂಗಚ್ಚತಿ ಗಚ್ಚತಿಗೆ ಸಮ್ ಸೇರಿಸಿದರೆ ಸಂಗಮ ಸಂಗಚ್ಚತಿ ಸಂಗಮ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಲ್ ಸಂಗಮ ಸಂಗಚ್ಚತಿ ಸೊ ಗಚ್ಚತಿ ಕಿ ಸಂಗಚ್ಚತೆ ಸಂಗಮ ಲೈಕ್ ದ ಜಾಯ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಸಮ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಟುಗೆದರ್ ದಟ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಉಪಸರ್ಗಾಸ್ 14 years covered. I think 6 + 2 8 more are there. I think we'll leave them when they will come. We will teach them when the lesson comes, because there is no point in somebody compiling all. They are already there in the books.
Okay.
When they come, you will learn them. Now next chapter we are starting with nouns. Fifth chapter. I think there are only 5 minutes are there. I won't teach much. I think tomorrow you won't have any homework then. Okay. Now nouns. We start with nouns. In Sanskrit, the vibhakti pratyaya. Vibhakti andre gottallave. So in English we can call them prepositions. English prepositions. He is calling upasarga as a preposition, but vibhakti should be called preposition. He is using wrongly. So the prepositions are vibhakti. In, on, with, under. These are all prepositions. So these prepositions are separate words in English. In Kannada, some places separate, some places same. Allave. Avarinda, avarigoskara, avarige. ಇಂಥದ್ದು ವಿಷ ಗೆ ಓಸ್ಕರ ಇತ್ಯಾದಿ ವಿಷ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ವಿಭಕ್ತೀಸ್. These vibhaktis are always joined with the word. One thing. Second thing is, when the vibhaktis are added to words, the word form won't remain same, it keeps on changing. ಅವನಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಹೇಳಬಹುದಾ? ಯಾಕೆ? ಅವನು ಬೇರೆ, ಅವನಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ, ಫಾರ್ ಹಿಮ್ ಅಂತ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ಅಪ್ಪ. ಇಲ್ಲ, ತಪ್ಪೆಲ್ಲಿದೆ? ಅವನು ಸ್ವಾಮಿ, ಅವನು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ನೌನ್ ಅಂತ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಅಂದರೆ ನೌನ್ ಅಂದರೆ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅವನು. ಯು ಆರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನಿಂಗ್, ಯು ಆರ್ ಸೀಯಿಂಗ್ ದ ವರ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ವರ್ಡ್. ಐ ಆಮ್ ಆಸ್ಕಿಂಗ್, ಡೋಂಟ್ ಗೋ ಬೈ ದ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್. ಅವನು, ಅವನಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಹೇಳಬಹುದಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆ? ಆ ನೂ ಶುಡ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಟು ನೀ. ಅವನಿ ಆಗಬೇಕಲ್ಲವೇ? ಹೌದು ಹೌದು. ಅವನು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಬಳಸೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಪ್ರಥಮ ವಿಭಕ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅವನು ಇರುತ್ತದೆ, ಬಟ್ ಓಸ್ಕರ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಲ್ಲ, ಆ ನೂ ಬಿಕಮ್ಸ್ ನೀ. ಹಾಗೆ ಇನ್ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ವೆನ್ ದ ವಿಭಕ್ತಿ ಪ್ರತ್ಯಯ ಈಸ್ ಆ್ಯಡೆಡ್, ದ ಮೇನ್ ವರ್ಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಅಂಡರ್ಗೋಸ್ ಚೇಂಜ್, pratyayas undergo change. There are too many changes. But whereas in Kannada and other Indian languages, one change you learn more or less the same change for all words. One vibhakti you learn, generally almost all words it is similar. But in Sanskrit, for various words they change in various ways. Therefore, how to learn them? They classified all of them into certain groups. So certain words undergo only certain changes. All those words are clubbed into one group. Then you learn one model for it and you learn all those things. Like this, how many changes they divided into groups. Okay, so to identify them, they recognized the words, the basic words. Nouns are adjectives. They first recognized them into three. First is Ajanta Halanta, words ending in vowel, ending in consonant. Word ending nobody bothers in other languages. In English, what is the ending of the word? Nobody bothers. In Sanskrit, what is the ending of the word is most important. End of the word. See, for example, vowel ending or consonant ending. Pratyak, it is ka ending. Ending in ka. Bhagavan ends in na. Rama ends in a. Therefore, some words ending in vowels, some words end in consonants. Therefore, Swaranta you can't say. In Paniniya grammar, we have to use certain expressions because Panini calls it ach. Anyway, this much you note down. Ach is called vowel in Panini's language because we have to use them. Ach is vowel. In Hal is consonant. Swara and Vyanjana. Ach is vowel, is swara. Hal is consonant. Okay. So if a word is ending in vowel, we call ach plus anta. Cha changes to ja. Sandhi rule. Ajanta we call. Note down. Ajanta is ending in vowel. Then halanta ending in consonant. For example, I'll tell you. Say for example, words ending in a, words ending in e, words ending in u, words ending in ru. These are called ending in vowels. A few more are there, one or two, but mainly hechu. For example, Rama ends in a, Krishna ends in a. Here you say Hari ends in e, Kavi, isn't it? Ravi, Hari, Kavi, Ravi, Rama, Krishna, Shiva. These are end in a, these end in e. But u, for example, Guru. Guru ends in u. Bhanu ends in u. For this thing, Kartru, Bhoktru, Pitru, Matru. These are ending in ru. So like this, words we have to identify what are the endings of them. So, akaranta, ikaranta, ukaranta, akara. Kara means letter is called akara. Kara means don't imagine anything. Akara means a only. Kara means saying and artha. In English, karna. Karna means saying. Heluvadu. A iti heluvadu akara. E endu heluvadu ikara. Like that. Akara, ikara, ukaraka. Saying a is called akara, ikara, ukara, rukara. Akara is in Sanskrit karna. Karna means telling. Karna means telling. A iti karoti. A iti heltane. He says a. Therefore akara. Ukara. So in akaranta, Rama, Krishna, Shiva. You take one model, Rama is enough, one word. Okay, see, isn't it? One word if you take it. So, how the Vibhakti Pratyayas are added, how the various Vibhakti forms are changed. So, when some Vibhakti Pratyayas are added, this undergoes certain changes. So, what one Rama undergoes, all the Akarantas undergo the same model. Therefore, you learn one Rama, then all Akarantas follow the just same. Then all Ikarantas follow one model. We'll take one Hari. We'll take one Guru. One Kartru. Like that. So for each one, we'll take one word. Then remaining, you learn all of them. Otherwise, for all these combined, you can't teach. Because each one has a different. So in Indian languages, whether this, ellarge see, Ramanige, Harige, Guruvige, what you call, Kartruge, elle onde helibidtare. Sanskrit agala, tumba change agibidtare. They change a lot. So all these follow one model. This all Hari Ikarantas follow same. Ikarantas like this. How to add this thing? So this is Ajanta. Similarly, A anta, Vo anta is also there. O anta is Go Shabda. Go is cow. Go is Okaranta. I think mainly Ekaranta, Okaranta, only up to this. But they are very rare, one or two words. These only four alone are plenty of words in Sanskrit. So this is Ajanta. Coming to Halanta, I'll just give you a few examples. Vak. Vak is Kakaranta, isn't it? Another is Vak. Jagat, Takaranta. Bhagavan, Nakaranta, isn't it? Like that Yogin, Nakaranta. Then Manas, Sakaranta, isn't it? Because Sakara, like a Ka, Ta, Sa, these are all consonant endings. So Vidwan, that again Nakaranta. Like this, these consonant endings also, if one Kanta follows one rule, all Kanta follows the same rule. All Tantas follow the same. Therefore, for each one you give one model, one example. You learn that all other things are same. Therefore, generally children are told, you take this one word and its forms and just memorize them blindly instead of going to all this grammar. Memorize them. Language becomes familiar. Then you can read shlokas and they start explaining the meaning and you understand. So for children, for beginners, we don't go even this much of grammar. But North Indian method is they go to Panini grammar. First, they go to the grammatical rules. Those rules are studied in Sanskrit. That too in a very cryptic language, in a very symbolic language, meta language. In meta language, those principles are read. You have to decode them. After decoding, those principles have to be explained. Then one word is taken and explained. You don't know where all you are going. It becomes a full-fledged mathematics. It is like a person who doesn't know alphabets and you teach him directly mathematics of BA level or MA level. A person who doesn't know 1, 2, 3 and even plus and minus, you teach him directly. How does he learn? And he says, no, this is a tradition, you must learn. That's the way. Okay, so this is one thing. So first we say Ajanta Halanta. Okay, in the vowels, we'll conclude in just 1 or 2 minutes. Akaranta, Ikaranta, Ukaranta, these things. Then in Halanta also Kakara, Chakara, Nakara, and then Sakara, like this, Hakara, like this. I given 4 or 5, like this, few more are there. So like this. So in these things again, in Akaranta, one more problem. These all the nouns are divided first into gender. Gender means linga. Punlinga, Strilinga, Napunsakalinga. Punlinga, Strilinga, Napunsakalinga. Then, for example, you take Rama, Akaranta Punlinga. Rama is Akaranta Punlinga. Akaranta is ending in Rama. And it is a Punlinga. Punlinga means masculine. Rama is a word. Take as a model word. Rama, once you learn, all other things will be same. Just as a model word, Rama. Traditionally, they use the word, we also use Rama Shabda. Rama. So this one, now the Vibhaktis, let us say. Vibhaktis, how are they? There are 7 Vibhaktis in Sanskrit, as you have in Kannada and all Indian. Therefore, those who know Indian language, it is easy. For a foreigner, you have to explain to them 7. He doesn't know what is 7. The 7 Vibhakti, 8th one is a Sambodhana Vibhakti. 8th is an additional Sambodhana. One a little difference, not much. So 7 Vibhaktis. Again in Sanskrit, as I told you, 3. Ekavachana, Dvivachana, Bahuvachana. For example, one Bala. Instead of Rama, let us take Bala. Balaha, one boy. Bala. Bala. So, Bala, if there is one Bala, you call it Ekavachana. If there are 2 boys, you call it Dvivachana, then Bahuvachana. So, in these things, 7 Vibhaktis and 3 Vachana. Ekavachana, Dvivachana, Bahuvachana. 7 plus 3. 7 into 3, 21 forms of Rama Shabda has got 21 forms. By adding the suffixes, we change each Vibhakti form. How they say, in the first chapter, he goes slowly one by one. Akaranta Shabda, you can see him. He says Nrupa. He gives an example, Nrupa. Nrupa is a king in Sanskrit. Nrupaha. Nrupa. I think he should have given Bala. I don't know, he is using Nrupa. But we can take either Bala. But I am not using Bala because traditionally everybody calls Rama Shabda. When you go to others, then you won't understand. Because the model, everybody, common in India is Rama Shabda. North India, South India, all over we use Rama. So therefore, if you also learn Rama, it becomes easy. Otherwise, you learn another model, I learn another model. When I explain, it is like Rama Shabda means how Rama Shabda, then you will get confused. So Rama or Bala, he is giving Nrupa, but doesn't matter. It means the same thing. Rama Shabda or Bala Shabda. Our government doesn't want to do Rama is a communal, therefore they want to change it to Vriksha. Our government has made a rule, no Rama should be removed, do Vriksha, because Rama is only communal. Sanskrit should be secular. Therefore Rama Shabda removed and then Vriksha. This is the pervert government anyway. So Rama Shabda. To this he gives first Prathama Vibhakti only. So first chapter he gives Prathama Vibhakti. Vibhakti by Vibhakti gradually he goes so that you don't fear the Sanskrit. The fear of Sanskrit grows away. He goes slowly point by point. So first Prathama Vibhakti. Prathama Vibhakti, when you say Bala. How do you derive the Prathama Vibhakti? He gives the Vibhakti Pratyayas, you see. Sa, Au, As. Sa. One is Sa, Au. Like Ti, Tas, Santi we have studied. Sa, Au, As. This grammar is not required in fact. For children even this we can skip. We give the form, ready-made forms and ask him to memorize. For those who want more little grown-up people, we add this grammar. Otherwise, this is a Panini level. Therefore, he is in between Panini and common man. In fact, for common people, even this much we skip it. Directly we give the form. Now, Sa is added to Bala. It becomes Balas. Balas. So, as the earlier we told, ending Sa changes to Visarga. Therefore, it becomes Balaha. Or Rama Shabda, if you take it, Ramas. Rama plus Ramas. Sa changes to Visarga. Ramaha. Bala plus Au. Here, Bala plus Au, that Vriddhi Sandhi comes, Balau. Bala plus Au changes to Balau. Bala plus As, Savarna Dirgha Sandhi. This we'll tell tomorrow. So, what is Savarna Dirgha Sandhi? Probably you already know. Balas. Bala plus As becomes Balas. Sa changes to Visarga as we told. So what happens? Balaha, Balau, Balaha. Balaha, one boy. Balau, two boys. Balaha, many boys. This is the form. Now some more is there, we'll tell tomorrow. I think tomorrow we have no homework. So I have to explain little more and then we'll have the homework. So Balaha, I have told, he is giving in Nrupaha. Same Nrupa is king. Sa you had it in Nrupas. Sa changes to Visarga. This step we don't have to say. Directly Balaha, Balahu, Balaha, memorize it over. Children repeat it. Now this grammar adding for little grown-up people. In fact, even this is limited. For Panini level, few more rules, much more complicated. How the Sa comes, Wo comes and what modifications they undergo, many more things. But it's just we are giving a little less than Panini structure. So Sa changes to Visarga. Au joins with it Balau. That is Vriddhi Sandhi. Bala plus Au, Balau. Then Bala plus As, Savarna Dirgha, Balas. Sa changes to Visarga, Balaha. Balaha, Balau, Balaha. Say.
Balaha, Balau, Balaha.
If Nrupa added, Nrupaha, Nrupau, Nrupaha. Rama.
Ramaha, Ramau, Ramaha.
That's all. Ramaha, Ramau, Ramaha. This may, what you call, Akaranta Punlinga Shabda. Akara because ending in A. Bala is a Punlinga. What is this linga idea? I'll tell you later. First this much alone. So then when the Napunsakalinga, one more he uses like Phalam. Phalam is a Napunsakalinga word. So for Phalam, Phalam, Phale, Phalani. Pustakam, Pustake, Pustakani. Pustakam is also Napunsakalinga. How that we shall tell tomorrow. So Phalam, Phale, Phalani. When you say Phalani, Bahuvachana. Phalam, singular fruit. Phale, two fruits. Phalani, many fruits. Balaha, one boy, Balau, two boys, Bala. So this is masculine and this is neuter. One point, I'll just close it. In Sanskrit, the gender pertains to the word, not to meaning. Meaning can be anything. Meaning can be man, woman, inert object, anything. Only word has a gender. Thus you have to note it and remember. In Sanskrit, word has a gender. Andre lingam shabdasya bhavati. Directly to the shabda. The linga pertains to shabda, not to the meaning. In Telugu, for example, I'll tell you. In Telugu, all male are used as a masculine. All women as a feminine. Then all inert objects as neuter. It is simple, easy. All animals, plants, everything, they are all considered equal to neutral. It's easy. It's very easy. Masculine, feminine, neuter is easy. Because according to the meaning, you use the gender. So, But in Hindi, if a horse is there, ghoda, ghodi. Ghoda is masculine, ghodi is feminine. They're difficult. Not only that, in Hindi, just like Sanskrit, the words also. Pani is Punlinga. Tea is Strilinga. Chai Strilinga hai, Pani Punlinga hai. So inert objects also, they have different lingas. Some similar to Sanskrit, even inert object, that's why linga is most difficult in Hindi. Just like in Sanskrit. In Sanskrit, linga pertains to the word itself. Meaning could be anything. Like certain animals also use like simha is Punlinga. Phalam is Napumsakalinga. So it is a word has got a linga. The gender belongs to the word, meaning could be anything. If you remember, therefore, it's a bit difficulty, but once you get a practice, you will get it. Each time you learn a word, like in verb, each time when you learn a verb, immediately learn what gana it belongs to. When you learn a verb dhatu, immediately ask what gana. Then only you can make its present tense past. Without knowing gana, you can't make it. Gana pratyaya, how do you add? You don't know how to make a present tense, past tense, you can't make it unless you know that. As you learn the verb, immediately learn the root and gana. Nouns, when it comes to noun, as soon as you learn the word, what is it? Is it ajanta, halanta, akaranta, ikaranta, bukaranta? What gender is it? Whether it is akaranta, ikaranta, bukaranta, that anta, ending letter, immediately learn what is its gender. If you learn these two, then the word is complete. Therefore, as you learn the word, immediately ask what gender. That's how Sanskrit learning goes this way. In other languages, you teach the word and gender, you don't bother. You can use them directly. No, in Sanskrit, it's not like. Every word, as you learn, you have to learn gender. Separately, you have to learn immediately. As you learn, ask immediately what gender. You learn the word and gender, I don't know. But you can't use it. Unless you know the gender, you can't use it. You can't use the word at all. As you know the verbal root also, dhatu, you can't use it. You can't make even a present tense unless you know the word gana. Therefore, in dhatu, as soon as you learn dhatu, immediately gana. That's why I told yesterday, dhatus with gana. You may ask why this gana pratyaya. Otherwise, you can't make a verb at all. Nouns also, as you learn, immediately you have to learn gender. Bala, immediately masculine. Phalam, immediately napumsaka. You learn napumsaka and then start making forms. Okay, I'll tell tomorrow. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Harihi Om Tat Sat.